All right.
I can see it too. I think it looks good.
All right. What's up, guys?
This is not your
cameras.
podcast.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's right. Sorry.
Wait, should we all take a sip and be like,
That's going to be the start. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God.
That's good. That's some good shit.
Oh, so good.
Alex and Katie, welcome to Half Past Ja.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, this is our first time having people.
This is a really big deal. We've never had actual guests on before because last week I had Sakatu on, but he doesn't really count as a guest because he's also here like every single week, so it doesn't really
Right.
count.
And
See?
he also like lives here, right? Like this is his
He
couch
also,
and everything.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
for the most part he does live here. He actually sleeps on this couch a lot. He really likes the couch.
Also, this is proof that we actually have friends
Yeah.
other than each other.
Yes.
Living
Boom.
proof.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're
We're
paying
so
you to be
excited.
here right now. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We'll give you the check after we record this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Alex and Katie, let's start off. Maybe just give us a little elevator pitch about yourself. I'm so excited you guys are here. I can't contain myself. But just give us a little bit of info about yourself, what you do, everything, how we know each other, just whatever.
Pretend you're interviewing at Apple and you want a job in marketing, and this is this interview right now. Tell me about yourself.
Now I'm nervous.
You're interviewing an Apple?
You go first.
At
Apple.
Apple. Oh, I
Like
thought you
at
said
Apple.
you're... Okay.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
So,
How?
Alex,
Okay. So you go first.
I go first?
Yes.
All right. So my name is Alex, and my last name is Gao, but it's spelled with a K.
K-A-O.
But it's pronounced Gao because it's Chinese.
It's Taiwanese. I
It's
thought
Taiwanese. It's Taiwanese.
Chinese they say cow, right?
Well, in China they pronounce it, or they spell it G-A-O, but in Taiwan it's
K-A-O. Okay, yeah.
I did
that's
not
what-
know that.
Yeah.
I'm glad
That
you
is
said
that
that.
is
Fun fact.
like where the knowledge of that stops, because I don't know. Like I don't have the reason for it. People are like, why is it like that? I'm like,
Oh, and I guess since you went into that, you could tell them where you're from.
Yes, that's
what was the question
basically
again?
okay. So I was just, I just wanted to know a little bit about you, like what your life is, what you're doing,
Gotcha,
and then
okay.
basically the topic today is that we have something in common as
Yeah.
a couple. We're both interracial couples, so that's
Gotcha.
basically where we're gonna go today. But if you just want to give a little bit of info about yourself,
Right on. All right.
just go for it.
So I work in the film industry. I work as a full-time editor as of recently. However, lately I've kind of stepped away from that, and I have gone on to pursue my own passion with content creation, and my niche is aquariums and fish.
Fish.
It's very specific, but that's what I do now.
Hashtag Gubby Squad.
Yeah,
Guppy
Guppy
Squad.
Squad. Guppy Squad.
I love it.
Follow me at World of Wasian.
World of
Shout
Wasian.
out, yeah.
What does Wasian mean?
Yeah, what is Asian?
Wasian is, so it's spelled W-H and then Asian, right? Mm-hmm. So it's half white, half Asian.
Nice.
Wasian.
But if you think about it, WH is only 2 letters and Asian is 5 letters. So is it really half at that point?
Are you like 75% Asian and only...
Man, you got me kind of messed up.
You
there.
need to take like a 23andMe DNA test and figure
Yeah.
out the exact
Yeah.
percentages.
Okay, we're getting off topic. I'm sorry.
So is this gonna be like cut down?
No.
No.
This is
Oh.
it. This is all, like, I don't cut anymore. I
yeah.
used to, but now no more cutting.
Hey, this is authentic. This is what we want.
All right,
Don't worry about it.
Sweet.
Okay, I'm Katie. Aker. And it's not Eker, it's spelled E-A-K-E-R.
I'm really glad you said that because I had no idea how to say
Oh,
your last name.
literally
Both
every
of your
single
last
person
names, I had no idea.
says Eker, but it's acre, as
Acre.
in like acres of land.
Okay.
And this was actually a bonding thing for me and Alex when we first met because I was aggressively trying to get his last name right. And I was like, before we knew anything about each other, like our favorite colors, I was like, can you just tell me how to say your last name, please? And he was like, well, it's Gao, but you can call me Cow. And I was like, why would I call you Cow when it's Gao? And he was like,
I've gone by Cal like my whole life because I wouldn't expect anyone to know how to say it.
well, and
It's
then
spelled K-A-O.
We
so like,
did it.
Yeah, I was like, wow, hey, this is Alex Cow, everybody.
like the job that I had before the last one that I had.
Could have
like, when
told me.
I left and they were all like, wait, we've been saying your last name wrong the whole time. And I'm like,
I mean, and I actually relate to that because people have said my last name wrong my whole life, and they're like, why didn't you correct me? And I'm like, because I did once, and I don't want to continue to correct people because it's annoying.
Yeah, and I totally get that. With my first name, Hallie, people say Haley, Holly,
Right.
because it's not spelled like, I always say Hallie like Halle Berry, and they're like, oh, is it spelled the same? And I'm like, well, no, but if you look Hallie, it says
Yeah.
Hallie.
Yeah.
It's not Haley or Holly, and it's like, people ask me all the time, why don't you correct me? And it's like, I've told you before, you forget, and then I just like don't care that
You don't
much
want
anymore.
to be like
Yeah, those
Yeah.
bastards.
that person.
I know, and there's no good way to be like, oh, my name's Hallie, because then they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh. And I've
I
heard
know.
people say that, and I'm like, you know what? It's just not worth it anymore. So,
Same.
okay.
And
yeah.
then there's people
Concur.
that are, for like me, my name is Saketu. But
All
like
of
in
us.
Gujarati, you would say Suketu. Like with
When
an
I
E.
first heard your name, I thought you were like Japanese.
Really?
Like when I
Suketu.
yeah, like
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I like that. That is pretty good. I like that. But no, it's Saketu. I've always been called Saketu, but a lot of people get mad at me because I don't use the original dialect. Did you know that?
Gotcha.
Which is your name.
Suketu is like the
People
original
get mad at you
dialect.
for that?
Yeah.
They're like, you don't
Wait, who,
say your
like,
own
on
name
social
properly.
media. Like social
The
media.
Well, they
TikTok.
don't.
Big issue. That's like how my TikTok took off, was that video with me like not saying my name right, apparently.
Wow.
They say, which this is so mean. I can't believe people even say this. They say like, you're not a true Indian. You don't say your name like you should. And it's like, that's his name. He's allowed to say it however he wants. That is
Oh my
nobody else's
gosh.
business.
Well,
but
first of all,
That's
it's your
harsh.
platform. You can say whatever.
Also,
Right.
yeah.
the disrespect, the nerve that people have, honestly, is astounding.
The nerve that these
That's
accounts
what
with
I'm saying.
no profile picture have.
User 37567.
You faceless bastard.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Katie, a little bit more about you. What do you do by day? And then a little bit about your side hobbies as well.
Okay, so what I do by day is I work at a hospital, and no, I have zero interest in healthcare, but I got this job right out of high school, and it was a great flexible job for me to be able to pursue my acting career because I'm an actor, and yeah, so I've been with an agency for like since I was 16. So I act and I model and I make films. I'm a filmmaker. Yeah, I direct and do fun stuff like that.
You do it all.
Yeah, I
Wait,
try.
I have a question.
Yes.
How does the agency work? Like, do they hire you, or do you go to them, or do you have to pay them?
So let me get my phone out of my pocket since somebody's calling me.
What?
Sorry, Mom, not right now.
Later, mommy.
So agencies. This is actually a big topic because a lot of people get scammed. But technically, it is not legal for agencies to charge you for anything. The only way they make money is when you get booked. So you can sign with an agency. If they like you, they'll sign you on, which is like how I went through an audition process, and they were like, okay, I'm going to sign you. Didn't get my first job for like 2 years with being with them. When I did, they got 20% of my check from that production company I worked with. That's how that works. And
You ever done work with Ken Nunn Law Office? That's how, like when they win the case.
Yeah.
That's when they
Yeah,
get the
pretty
money.
much.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
Gotcha.
realtor. Like,
But I
in
mean,
that
they
way,
can
get
charge
commission.
for. So my agency does this thing where, like, if you want your profile on our website to be public, you can pay this much a year, but it's not required. They can't require you to pay anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. And how long have you been doing that?
I'm 24, and I started when I was like 15.
15?
Yeah.
Damn. What the?
Alex acts like he hasn't known this. I love the awe factor, though. I think that's fun.
Wow.
What?
I hope my mic isn't peaking. Okay, I think we're good.
We're fine.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, and it's crazy to know that like you've wanted to do that for like almost 10 years.
Yeah,
You've been wanting to
and
go into acting and
I didn't
singing and
really
modeling.
know specifically because I was really into theater for half of my life, and then when the pandemic hit, I had been doing acting classes for film and television stuff, but I didn't really take it super seriously until the pandemic, and that's when I like made a huge switch from being a theater girl to being a filmmaker and actually, doing I haven't done theater in a while, so I've made that switch now. But I kind of,
Excuse me.
kind of dabbled in both there for a while.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, and we've seen some of your guys' films that you've worked on together, and they are so good.
Yes,
They're
they
Thank
so
you.
cool. You guys should check
Yes.
them out. They're
Thank
so
you.
cool.
I saw one just posted on YouTube the other day.
Yeah.
With Saigon.
Oh yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Corey posted it.
Yeah, we
Saigon.
watched it. We watched
Yeah.
a little bit
I
of
didn't
it.
even know that.
I'll post
He's
a
an
link
actor
to
in
it.
it.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yes.
It was a great.
That
you look
was-
you look like a baby in it.
I know.
Yeah.
What is the deal?
I
That
don't
was
know
from,
what
like,
it is.
That was like 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Why did I look like that?
You do look like a baby. I don't know. Maybe it's like the
You've,
headband
like,
that pulled your hair back a little bit. I don't really know.
You've completely changed. Like your face is just
So
different.
do I still look like a
You've
baby?
aged. It's because you worked 9 to 5 or so.
That's what it is.
Dude, I aged. It was like the smog just made me like
Yeah.
different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's it.
But I just working full time at a 9 to 5 job for 1 year made me just like, yeah.
That's it. It's true. 9 to 5
ages you.
can really age you. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah.
But now that I have all my fish, I'm getting younger.
guppy
again.
squad.
Yes.
You're getting rejuvenated.
Yes.
Yeah. All my plants.
Yeah, that's sick. Okay, so going back to your backgrounds, everything that we were talking about, you mentioned that you were Asian. So my next question to you both is, what ethnic background do you identify with? Let's talk about that, since that's the main topic of today's conversation.
That's something I would love to know the answer to right off the bat. But like to be honest, like okay, so I was born in Taiwan. My dad is full blown Taiwanese, and so is the rest of my dad's family. My mom's American. Like they're all from New York, right?
Yep.
And I was born in Taiwan, and then I moved here with my mom. My mom and dad got divorced, so all of my Taiwanese family still remains in Taiwan. And I don't have the experience that a lot of Asian Americans have, where their whole family came here, and then they conform to American culture. Like when I'm here, I'm American, and when I go back to Taiwan and visit my dad and the rest of his family, I completely code switch and I become a Taiwanese person.
Wow.
I'm not like, it's not like, hey, let's go back to the motherland to see what's up. It's like, I'm going back to visit my family that has stayed there.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty crazy.
so when people ask me, like, what do you identify with more? It's like, it's really hard to say. Like, right now, I'm going to say American, because I'm hearing this on American soil, eating cheeseburgers. But as soon as I go back to Taiwan, I'm going to be pounding that rice down.
Yeah.
And
As you
Sometimes-
should.
Sometimes that can be a good thing in for identity purposes. Like here, a lot of people go through this thing where it's like, you know what? I can't identify with being Indian, or I can't identify with being white. Like there's like no in between because they don't know which one's which. You know, like a lot of people are like, I'm not Indian enough, or I'm not white enough to fit in either side of things. Whereas you're
Right.
like, I'm American, so I'm American. I'm Taiwanese, so I'm Taiwanese.
yeah.
That's
and
good.
I've struggled with that for a while. Throughout high school and my early years in college, other Asian American folk here were like, "You're not Asian enough because you don't look like you're a half a white boy," and they treated me different. So I don't really align myself with the Asian community, like the Asian American community here in the States, for that reason.
I can see that.
It was very unvalidating. A lot of I don't know why, and I realize now that I think it's a reflection of their insecurity because they've been in America their whole life, and it's coming from like a place of insecurity because I had the experience of being like a Taiwanese boy
Yeah.
where they didn't, and I think they have an identity crisis. It's not me,
Yeah.
but I let it get to me.
No, I get it. That happens a
It'd
It'd be
lot.
hard to not let it get to you when
And
you're
I've learned
surrounded by
to
that.
just,
And you
like-
look to these people to be like, "Oh, we can be friends. We have a lot in common." Yet they're dissing you, saying you're not
Yeah.
Asian enough.
Yeah, and I've learned to just be like, whatever,
Yeah.
like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I look half white, okay, so
No, I get it.
it's not my fault.
So, how old were you when you were born in Taiwan? And how old were you when you moved here?
So I was like 1 year when I moved to the States, but then I would like go there. I would visit a lot,
Yeah.
and as of lately, I try to go there every summer.
Is it expensive to go there?
It's pretty expensive. It's like $1,600 for a plane ticket.
Okay, so pretty average.
Taiwan is
That's not
it's an
terrible.
island, like so. There's a lot of connections to get there. It's like a 24-hour journey to get
Yep.
there. Sometimes 36,
Whew.
depending on
That's a lot.
So I've learned take the longer flight.
Yeah.
Because-
Funny you say that.
We,
Yeah.
the thing-
we did not take the longer flight.
Yeah.
And we're going to next
because
time. You don't want a layover.
Yeah, you go on Expedia, you see the shorter flight, you're like, oh, let me take that. But when you take the shorter flight, you don't get a break. Whereas, like, if you take the 40-hour flight, you have, like, 12 hours where you can be hanging out in that city.
Yeah.
And you could also get a hotel room and just
Yeah.
sleep.
It's cheaper too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more worth it. Like, especially if you're having a layover in, like, some cool place, you can, like, go explore if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
How do we even get on this topic?
I don't know. But, I mean, I know because you guys are eventually, Katie's going to be going to Taiwan for the first time. We
Yeah.
can talk
I'm
about
so
that later.
excited.
But, Alex, so what do you miss? Obviously, you said you were super young when you moved to the U.S. and then you go back and visit every so often. But what do you miss most about when you're there? I mean, I know, sorry. I know you probably don't remember much from when you were a baby and first came here. But, like, when you go back, what do you miss from that?
There's so many things. Obviously, my family. Like, you know, my dad and everything.
Yeah.
He's a total oddball. I love him.
I always see him comment the funniest stuff on your posts.
He's awesome. He's so weird. But yeah, I mean, I miss the food. Just the way life is. People in Taiwan are just so relaxed, and there's just more of an individual, or sorry, opposite. There's more of a collective culture there. You know, I don't know what it is about here in the States, but people in the States seem to have everything material wise, and they're just so unhappy all the time. And that is not a vibe that I get when I go to Taiwan. People are just chilling, like sitting on a plastic stool on the street eating noodles, you know, with no plan for the rest of the day, but they're just happy.
Yeah, people in India do the same thing. It's like they're making $10,000 a year, living their best life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I made $10,000 a year in America, I'd be homeless on the streets.
Yeah.
So it's like here everybody's really money hungry versus everywhere else. It's not that way.
Yeah, it's just the way it's. I mean, the way it is here. Like, but even when people exceed their financial goals that they set for themselves when they were younger, they still keep going.
They still want more.
Yeah, and then
Always.
they live their whole life like that without ever relaxing. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. And from when I went to India, that's exactly what I saw too. And that's what I was going to say. I was going to nudge you to say that if you didn't. But I mean, and Sakechi said this a million times, people here don't have problems. We don't have problems. Most of us, like, we have enough money to be able to put food on the table, to be able to, you know, see the people that we need to, like, whatever. We don't have real issues here. So many people make their own issues and they're always hungry for more. Like, they always want more. Whereas you go to India or Taiwan, maybe you don't see that.
Well,
So
they
different.
have real
Right.
life issues.
They do.
Like, are they going to be able to have food tomorrow? Like, that's
Yeah.
a real struggle that some people will go through. A lot of people here in America still go through that. Yeah, it definitely happens, especially in like the city areas. You can start seeing that, but I feel like here it's on another level of like you have everything, but you pretend like you don't have anything.
And I'm not trying to like say Americans don't have problems. We definitely
Yeah.
have issues here. But I think a lot of the issues that we have here with unhappiness and people just being like go. It's the individualistic culture here.
Yeah.
That people need to set out and be wealthy and be self-sustainable on their own. Whereas, like in a lot of those Asian countries, it's like your family is a clan. You stick together and you know, expand your empire together.
That's another question. Does your in Taiwan do they live together usually? Like, do your grandparents live with your parents, or after you kind of get married, do you move out? Is that common? Or
It's kind of. So my family, they never lived together,
okay.
but they like live very close together.
Yep.
And it's like every night, you know,
Yeah.
my aunt would be there or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it was very like they would never say like, "Hey, I'm moving to Florida,"
Yeah.
or you know, like here in the States, it's like I'm moving to New Jersey because my job's taking me there. Like that's kind of like
People put their job first usually here.
yeah, that's what's just wild.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
don't place their family high enough up here. I don't think. I know,
Yeah.
at least I know a lot of people where they don't, where they put their family last, and it's so important that you have the concept of your family.
Well, here they get so caught up in like, oh, I'm gonna get all this money so I can do this and that for
Yeah.
my family, and then you never spend any time with your family. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I get it.
And I'm not saying like I don't want to complain about it. It's more just an observation because what is the remedy for that? I don't know.
Right.
It's just a different society. What can you do about it? Like it's obviously both ways of living. There's pros and its cons. There are a lot of things that I don't like about Taiwan. There are a lot of things I do like. There are a lot of things I love about the U.S. that I wish Taiwan would do. But
Like internet. Oh my gosh. I wish there was like high speed internet where we lived in India, but that is not ever gonna happen.
It's not.
I've never had to worry about a hurricane in my life living in Indiana.
Oh, that's true.
Very true.
It's
There's
facts.
no coastal water, ruining my house.
Yeah. That's definitely a big difference.
That's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the relationship aspect of this because this is something huge that we have in common. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this. So talk a little bit about how you guys met.
You can take this.
Okay.
I've been talking for like.
So, when we met, it was funny. We had kind of briefly met during when he was in IUPUI. It wasn't film school, was it? Because you were, what was your
Well,
major?
it was like a media specialization.
But
It was
you
a-
were doing a short film with your class. Is
Yeah,
basically.
it was like a project, like an
Yeah.
assignment.
And I had a friend that I knew from acting classes that asked me to come be a part of it. And then we briefly met on that set. Really didn't see him again. Then somehow our friend Corey hit me up on Instagram and was like, "Hey, can you be in this film that I wrote?" And I was like, "Yes." Then I get there, and that was the first time I officially met Alex. He was the DP, director of photography / cinematographer, and he was filming the entire thing. It was very up close and personal too, because that's Corey's style, and so he's all up in my face. I was an astronaut in the film. But
Yeah, that
yes.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that was the first time that you guys met. For
yeah, that was the
okay.
first time we
Which I've
ever
seen.
talked to each other.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
okay.
I was like, "Hi, I'm the cameraman."
No.
Hello.
This is actually I love telling people this story because it makes me laugh so hard. But so I was in a film. We were having a break or whatever, and I was telling a joke because when I had this astronaut helmet on, I would take it off and my hair was disgustingly frizzy and I kept saying to them that I looked like a baby bald eagle. If you've never seen that, you need to look it up. It's pretty bad.
I'll look it up.
And everybody was laughing so hard. And I turn around and Alex is just staring at me like, he's just not laughing. He's just like, and I was,
Just taking it in.
yeah, no, I actually thought he hated me though, because everybody else was laughing so hard, but he was not. He was just like, and he goes, "What?" I was like, "Oh, And then I showed him a picture of a bald eagle, and he goes, "Oh, okay." And I was like,
Okay.
Does this man hate me?"
What?
So I made it my personal mission for the rest of that film to make him laugh, because I was like, I gotta break this guy.
Did you succeed?
I did. I think.
He
I said a few things, and you were kind of, and then you ended up taking a picture of me and Corey because I was on the ground in the sand when it was pouring, and Corey was hunched over me trying to help me up. And then you put me on your story. I was like, well, at least he doesn't hate me because I'm on a story,
Right.
And then
I
after,
don't hate anyone. Why would I hate?
well, I didn't know that at the time. And then
That's
another
hilarious.
important aspect of this is he is 70% deaf in this ear. And whenever I made that joke, he didn't hear me. He didn't hate me. He just didn't hear the joke.
Oh my god.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm
That's
just
why you
I'm just
said
deficit,
what?
So I was like,
What?
it made so much sense. It made so much sense after that.
So many people
hilarious.
think I hate them because I ignore them.
Yes.
And really, I'm just not
That's
hearing them.
precisely what I thought.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and then after that, he asked me to go to the skate park with him. How romantic. And then we would
Aw.
spend time at the skate park.
Sweet.
I was like, let me teach you how to pop shove it.
And I did it once. And
Alex
I
is-
hugged him, and he was like,
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like
Alex's
this.
riz is all the way up here. It's off the scale.
yeah.
So how long ago was that?
Oh, geez.
Like 2 years ago, 3 years,
Years
now.
ago.
Yeah, I think 3 years. Feels like forever ago.
And the sparks were just flying.
They were
You just
flying.
Yeah, they
knew
were.
love was in the air.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And now you're taking her to your homeland. Look at
Yes.
The handshake has happened 10 times.
This is our personal thing.
Yeah,
If you
it's like
haven't-
we're just like,
if
hey,
you haven't gathered that,
we're
already.
like pizza for dinner. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so with you being an interracial couple, What are some of the biggest cultural differences that you've noticed between you two? Like just everyday things that you're like, oh, maybe he does this differently or she does this differently or stuff
Me
like that.
personally, like I feel like, because I've lived in the U.S., so like I feel like there aren't any differences.
No, there's
But apparently there are.
no.
She's like no
Let's
other
hear
American
it.
boy does this.
Let's hear it.
Well, what I think is the biggest difference is sometimes he's so freaking direct, and I think he's being rude to me. And he's
Oh.
because that's such a.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And he's like, "What?" And
The
I'm like,
brutal
"You said
honesty.
that with such a really straightforward, angry tone." And he was like, "No, I didn't. I wasn't mad at you." I was like, "Alex, but you said that so mad." I'm not mad. I'm like, "Then why'd you say it?" And then we
How
get
dare
into
you
these
think I'm
little things.
mad?
But then he's like, "Katie, you have to understand. I don't. Was it your Taiwanese family is like that, or your East Coast?"
Both.
So it's like a bad combination of him just
The East
Being
Coast.
like-
Yeah, that's quite the combination there, yeah.
just saying. So half the time I'm so overly like I overthink everything. Everything that comes out of my mouth, I think about how it's going to affect somebody, and literally how like if I say something, I'm like, did that just hurt their feelings? Oh
Well,
my gosh,
okay,
am I gonna make
that's-
them cry?
That
That's
is like
so
a
That's the most
Midwest.
relatable thing I've ever heard in my whole life. This is literally us.
That's
Oh my
like
god.
an Indiana, like Midwest thing is like everyone here is like a people pleaser.
Yes.
I hate
Facts.
that. It's like just get straight to the point. Stop like going around and trying to like not hurt my feelings.
You
Just-
still can be straight to the point, but you can be like nicer about it. That's the approach that I take.
That's
or at least
what
try
me
to.
too. Because
Sometimes-
you love
I don't know.
No, you love that I'm a sensitive and nice person. And you've said
You
that.
love
Wow.
it. Yeah.
You said that before. You're like, oh my
Receipts.
gosh, I've never met somebody that is like that. And I'm like, yeah.
yeah, you are
And-
very honest.
But I also love that you're so direct and honest, but sometimes that can come with a price because you can be aggressive, or what I perceive to be aggressive.
Aggressive.
And that's something that I personally like can get better at. Like
So we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's
a good
something
thing to
I
talk
feel
about.
like is a cultural difference, but I don't know. Do you think
hopefully
it
it's
is?
a cultural. I mean, it's you can lean on being culturally different for a lot of things, but at the end of the day, like you gotta take it upon yourself to be the best person you can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Agreed.
And that's one thing that my dad struggles with. He's like, I'm Taiwanese. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, you're just a bitch.
It's like
Hopefully
the
he's not watching.
justification.
Huh?
Like justification. That's
Yeah.
a lot of people do that.
I can justify.
Yeah.
But people, I don't want to over justify everything because that's
Mm-hmm.
what makes people selfish.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well,
So-
it's interesting that you say that because you being sensitive and soft and kind towards people and then you being very upfront and honest with people, that's a dynamic that we have in our relationship too. And we've had so many conversations where I'm like, Sakati, you could have said that better. Just think about it before it comes out of your mouth. Like, why don't you take 5 extra seconds and think about it? And then we can talk about this rationally.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like
And he just blurts it out and he's like, well, this is how it is. This is how it should be. And he'll be like, oh, it's because my family's all like that. We all do that. Ha ha ha.
But like growing up with 3 older sisters and like my parents, it was always like you said what you needed to say every second. Like that's just what I saw. My sisters were like brutal to each other at some points. I hope they're not watching this. But like they used to say whatever came to their mind, right? And they would just say it out loud. So that's what I saw. And so like that's what I thought was normal. I just like say it. Whatever's in my head, I say it out loud. And then Hallie taught me this thing. It's like called take a breath, and then you
Taught you this
think
thing.
about what you're supposed to say and see how it will affect them. And then maybe 15 seconds later, then you say what you need to say.
Yeah,
Think,
he doesn't have a
That-
phone.
think before you speak.
That is something
Yes,
I never
golden rule right
ever
there.
learned. That's a new theory that Hallie taught me.
Well, yeah. I mean, it came up so much because we were so young when we started dating too. And so I was extra sensitive when I was like 16 when we started dating, right? So it's like when you would say things to me without thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm little Hallie. I get my feelings hurt so easily. But then I see now, why are you laughing? What
Because-
is wrong with you?
Because that was true.
Well, like a lot, and even, okay, but I see a lot of things nowadays that you say to me, you come from a good place. Like, you mean well, you just don't think about it properly. And like I hate to say it, but a lot of things that you say are right. And sometimes I need to hear it. Which is unfortunate
that.
because it could be cushioned and it could be like, it softened, right, in like a sweet way, but it doesn't always come out that way. So that's also something that I've noticed in our relationship as well. So it's interesting that you guys say that.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit of a struggle.
It is a struggle.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, just be a self-reflecting person and think about, yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing in a relationship where you come from very different places, is just be empathetic about the other person.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Just have feelings, basically.
Yeah.
Think and have feelings. Yeah.
Think is the hardest part.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so my next question is, what was it like meeting each other's families for the first time?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, actually, that's funny. Okay, you haven't really met any of my family yet.
In Taiwan, no.
Yeah, so I'm bringing her to Taiwan soon.
Ooh.
So, I can't
mean-
fully answer that
Exciting.
question, but
I have met your other side of your family, and I'm very close to them now. But it was kind of, I don't know. It was, I will say, there's a big difference between our families, and it was. What
Do
was that?
tell, please.
I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
You were
Yeah,
like
okay.
really agreeing.
The sass. I don't even know how to describe it. Like your family. How would you describe it? Don't even be like my family's great.
So like, okay, Alex,
My
meeting
family's
Katie's
great.
family for the first time. Like, how did that go?
What's that?
Meeting Katie's family for the
Oh.
first time. How did that go?
I kind of got weird vibes, not gonna lie. Like, I didn't,
vibes.
I love them now,
My
but
stomach's growling.
I don't know.
okay.
It kind of took a minute for me to prove myself.
You know what? I can describe this now. They were not used to anybody being as bold and upfront as Alex. Also, not saying the most unhinged things ever.
Really?
He
Okay, what-
made it his personal mission to make my mother so uncomfortable half the time.
What?
Like
Why?
Wow.
he would. My mom
This is
is
new
like she. I don't know if she's ever cursed in her life. Like she is a saint. She's very
And then Alex
innocent.
comes along.
And then Alex comes along and says all of the very profound things that he has to say, and is just cursing every 5 seconds and
Sorry.
Guys, wait, I have to tell you guys
Being
something.
crude.
So, Alex and Katie made a film, and they showed it in a movie theater,
Oh my
okay? And they went
Our
up
friends
front.
and family there.
Their whole friends and family were all there, and Alex goes up front in front of everybody and just starts talking. And I advise everybody, if you guys have an event, don't ever let Alex do something like that.
What?
Because man, oh man, this man literally says whatever's in his mind.
literally
Remember
no
Kate-
filter.
I just remember he and Katie kept fighting over the mic, and she's like, anyways, and he'd take it back, and he just starts spewing words.
And we had
So
so
Katie
many
and I were literally in
conversations before.
tears.
And you're like, should I say something about like how we had dangerous things on set? And I was like, don't ever say that in front of a group of people because that's first of all not true. Second of all, I don't want them to like get us arrested. I don't know, something crazy.
I remember him saying how expensive it was. He's like, this isn't cheap. You guys need to give us money.
Literally, no
That was
filter.
So funny.
No
Oh my
filter.
god, it was so
And I was like,
funny.
yeah, that's not really how you get people to donate. But okay.
That was
Damn.
hilarious.
Yeah, we have quite the dynamic, I would say.
Hey, but the marketing campaign worked. People thought it was the funniest thing. It was memorable.
It
Yeah,
was.
that's true.
It definitely
People
was
did like-
memorable.
People talk about it to this day, so it worked.
is very
We
true.
are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
we did
funny.
it. So
And then the film after was great, and
Thank
yeah,
you.
you guys
Thank
looked
you.
phenomenal. You
Oh,
dressed to the
thanks.
nine. It was a great night. But
It was a fun
how
night.
did we get there? Wait, okay. what
Oh,
were-
so we're talking about
Because of
families.
Alex meeting.
Anyways, I think I'm on the spectrum, just slightly.
what?
Because
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. It was just like, why did you say that?
That came out of nowhere.
Jeez, I'm gonna peek this mic.
That's okay.
So let me just go back. Oh gosh. He met my family. My family was like not used to people cursing
Well,
left
let
and right
alone-
and saying really outlandish things, especially sexual stuff that was like sexual jokes. Like you'd be like, I don't know if I can even say it.
Say it.
No.
You said
I never
sexual
said
jokes
any
in
of that
front of
stuff
her.
like when I first met them. I was very.
Okay.
Katie
I'm gonna have to like defend myself there.
Okay.
I remember when I first met your family. I mean, they were like a very conservative, religious family, and they saw me as like an Asian boy,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, they weren't used to that.
No, it wasn't just that. It was you the way you talked. I will say
That was
you weren't saying the worst things. The things you say now to them, they are actually used to it.
I definitely like brought a level of confidence they probably weren't used to, but I
There's
wasn't
that
like that vulgar when I first met them.
Alex is very confident in himself, so everybody.
Which is a great thing.
It
It's
is
a
a
great
thing.
quality to have.
I appreciate
thing.
that,
Yeah.
but sometimes it causes me to dig myself in a hole. Because I just say stuff that I'm like, okay, that was not appropriate. I should not have said that.
Because sometimes, like, my family would come back to me and be like, Katie, what did he mean by that? I'm like, I don't think he meant anything, so just don't think about it too deeply.
But, you know, like, I don't think I was that crazy when I first met
You
them.
didn't say, like, the things that you say now.
But you
Which
can't-
is, like, this sounds really bad, but I'm just saying he'd be like, what's up, sexy, to my mom when he first met her.
No, I didn't. When I first met her?
Not when you, okay, like, maybe a few,
come on.
a few months in is what I should
And
say.
she's like, huh?
But, like, I mean, like, would you... You say that stuff.
I think
Dude, if you
I
said
think-
that to my mom, I'd be like,
See, that's what I'm
let's
saying.
talk.
It's
a
totally a
little.
personality thing, though, because,
I think
like,
I think the timeline is a bit off. I think you're
like,
kind
I'm
of...
not saying the first day that you met her, but, like, the first few months that we were together, you'd say the stuff, or he says it to my brother, too, though. Like, he
Okay.
doesn't just say it to my mom.
Okay.
But nobody in our family has dated anybody like that, ever. And so it's very odd for
I
them.
talk like that. Like, everyone that I, like, really love and care about, I'm always, like, just kind of fruity.
In that...
kind of fruity.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, and I just didn't know how to describe it. Like, this is what I'm saying, it's so difficult to describe, because, like, you're not inappropriate, you just say things that, like, people are not expecting. Like,
It keeps you on your toes.
yeah, it really does. It does. And that's
That's
mild.
hilarious.
That's a mild
I
thing.
can't
That's-
stop laughing.
So, there's that. And then I met his family, and they thought I was really soft-spoken. It was just because I was nervous the first day that I met them.
Well, you met my family and you were like, oh, his whole family is like this.
Oh, yeah, and then I realized that, because they're
You're
all
like, they-
very similar.
They don't have a filter. They're, like, straight out of, you know, like, my mom's straight out of Long Island.
Yeah.
Does not... I mean,
Oh, they would be, like, dropping the F-bomb, being like, shut the up, you know? And I'm like,
They say...
you're saying that's your mother?
My mom, in return, she would always say it, like, so casually. She'd be like, hey, bozo, go shut the fucking door. You know what I
Are we
mean?
allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
cool.
okay.
Okay. I've been, like, not knowing. But, yeah, they'll just tell each other, they'll be like, fuck off. And I'm like, you say that to your mom?
Oh my
Like, that-
God.
it, like, scared me at first.
Well,
but now
okay.
I understand their dynamic, but my family's...
Okay, let me just backtrack. Me and my mom was a single mom for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I had seen her struggle like crazy, and she had seen me struggle like crazy, you know, like and like we have a bond like I would say most American families, like their son and their mother would not have. Like we are
Yeah.
like best friends.
Mhm.
And yeah, like that's
how I feel.
we're extremely comfortable.
That's a
with each
good
other.
thing. That's
Yeah.
really good.
That is.
And
so-
I'm even close, like that. I'm very close to Sandy
Yeah,
now
like-
because of it.
My mom, I mean, like I said, like she's from New York. She has no filter, but at the same time, I had seen her in very vulnerable places that like most kids wouldn't ever see their parents in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like through that, it was like, and me trying to lift her up as a little kid, and her trying to lift me up and be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're just
My mom was a single mom whenever I was 15. And I think one thing that you're not used to is how we do everything together. And like when we first started dating, that was kind of a problem, is like we didn't have any like space or alone time. Wouldn't you agree? Because
Yeah,
my
I
family
guess.
was so tightly knit,
Yeah.
and like he didn't understand the concept of girls' night. And he still doesn't.
Alex.
Because he's like, why? Why are you gendering nights? And I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, I've never done that. I'm like, I know, but I grew up with 3 girls in the house, like my 2 sisters and my mom. It's just something we've always done. It's not against you at all. It has nothing to do with.
It's just tradition. You guys. Have
It's
always
just
done
a
that.
tradition,
Yeah.
and so there's that difference too of, like, you being an only child with your mom, and then me having 2 sisters, and we were like, oh my gosh, that was like how we got through being in that situation in our life.
Yeah.
When my mom was single and going through it, it was just being that tightly knit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah, and I can say that I can speak to that too with our families because we have 2 very different family
Very
dynamics.
different.
I would say more so his family does everything together where like it's just me, I have one brother, and it's my parents.
Yeah.
And we like to be together, but we like to do our own thing too. So we never would designate like this is family dinner. Like we never did that. We never did like a family dinner night or like we're going to go out. We just didn't do that. Whereas you guys,
Yeah, if there's only one bed, we're all in that bed.
Yeah.
well, like for
That's
That's what I'm
example,
about to say. Yeah, like
yeah.
like in Taiwan, we'd all be sleeping on the same bamboo mat.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
It's a very, but then that ties into your culture. It's a very family connected, oriented
Yeah.
situation that you guys have got going on, which I really respect because I never had that growing up. And so coming into that, it was so different for me. I was almost like shocked and still sometimes like, and it's a great thing. Like if one person says they're going to do something, like 5 others will show up. And I'm like, oh, I guess
and
like
then,
sometimes I don't put it together in my head. Like that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
and then the same thing with Alex is like we could get like super mad at each other, and then 2 hours later we'll be like doing something together. Like it's all good.
Oh, like yeah.
We'll like say
You don't hold
something mean to
grudges.
each other or whatever, and then it's okay.
But it's all blank. It's just kind of just like
Exactly.
an observation you just got to get off your chest.
Yeah.
But again, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about way at the beginning, where it's like the collective culture versus the individualistic culture here in the
Yeah.
States. And there's pros
Absolutely.
and cons to both.
Yeah, there is.
You know, I definitely love having my personal space here in the States.
Yeah.
Whereas when I go back to Taiwan, I'm like, Grandma, why are you following me around everywhere? You know, like I'm
Grandma.
going to the 7-Eleven. I'm leaving the house to go get a drink from the 7-Eleven. She's following me with an umbrella over my head because she doesn't want me to get tan.
Yeah.
But that's also like something I feel like you don't realize is a part of you to this day in America. Is like you're very family oriented, very like you have to share experiences.
Absolutely.
Like-
Especially when it comes to food.
Oh yeah.
Anytime
Oh,
I'm
I love
consuming something.
He'll
I'm
be like,
like,
"You want to go to McDonald's?" And I'm like, "I'm not that hungry. We can go get you some." I don't want it anymore.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, "I don't want it."
Oh my gosh. This is a
us too!
huge
Oh my
thing.
God.
And this has just turned into something that I deal with as well. It's like whenever I want something to eat and I was like, I want Taco Bell. And I was like, I want Chick-fil-A. It's like, well, I guess I can't get Taco Bell at that point.
it's like,
you know,
That's
well,
what
I
we
guess I'll
do.
eat Chick-fil-A now.
Yeah. Well, even like a few days ago, we were coming home from a long day at work, and you were like, "Let's just make it easy. I'll get Taco Bell." And I was like, "Well, I want to eat this. I've been wanting it all day." And you're like, "Fine, we won't get Taco Bell." I'm like,
it's like,
I'm
it's
sorry.
like, I'm not going to go eat something if you're not going to eat
Which
it.
it
Yeah.
makes total sense
It
because I'm
does.
that way too.
She's that way with Starbucks because I'm
Or
always
like,
like
ice cream. I'm like, "Can you
Yeah.
take an
Oh,
ice cream?"
absolutely. Ice
No,
cream is
thanks.
different.
with
Yeah.
with Starbucks, you know, I'm always like, if we share a venti, it's much cheaper than getting 2 grandes. 2 grandes now is like $12, guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know, right?
12
And
bucks.
I know for sure she ain't gonna finish that.
And so
She drinks like half of a tall.
That's not true.
I always suggest, let's get a venti. It's only like $6, and we get to drink a lot of coffee at the same time. But because we don't have our own, technically we're, you know, it's just she likes the 2 grandes instead, so we usually do that anyways.
Well, one,
Oh, the
yeah,
horror.
I like having our own, but then it's like, I don't want to be like, "Hey, can I have a separate cup, by the way?" Because then they'll like, I don't know, they'd see us pour. It's
Yeah.
the shame and the guilt that I'll feel
Shame and
around
the
We're
it.
always trying to cheat the system, you know.
Me too.
I always try and cheat the system.
So going back a little bit, talking about family meeting and everything, you're going to be going to Taiwan, and I wanted to ask how you think all of that's going to go with her meeting your family that has never been here before, she's never met, because I recently met a ton of his family that was in India that I'd never met before, and then even when I first met his family back a long time ago, it took them a little bit of time to come around to the concept of me being around, but they eventually did, and obviously now we're married. So I just wanted to know, like, you're going to be meeting a lot of people.
I'm fully confident they're gonna love her.
Yeah.
Like, I think for something that I dealt with for a while, you know, my family was like, you need to marry a Chinese woman or a Taiwanese woman. Worst case, maybe a Japanese or Korean woman. And then I like
that's sad.
completely went out of bounds and got a white woman. And you know what I mean? But she's not the first person that I've dated in my life. So, they kind of gave me flack for a while. They're like, oh, these American women are crazy, whatever. But I've been in a relationship with other people, and I think they've kind of come to the point now where they're like, okay, he's into white American women. You got it.
So growing up, did you always think that you would be with somebody of your own culture, or did you ever think about being with anybody?
I don't know. That just never crossed my mind.
We spent most of your time here, and
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anywho, going back to the question, answering that, like I'm gonna bring her to Taiwan. I think they're gonna love her because she's very respectful of my identity, and that's one of my favorite things about Katie is that people that I've been with in the past, they never really. I think that's why I had an identity crisis because I was just like, why would I want to be Asian? I'm here in the States, right? And then Katie recently has made it a point to be like, hey, you should embrace this part of your culture. Like, you should embrace this other half of you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right.
now we're learning Chinese together.
Yeah, we're learning Chinese together, you know what I mean? And it's just, I think it'll be good. Like, my dad, he loves that. He loves that Katie embraces my Asian heritage.
We always in each other's DMs, me and David.
For those of you who don't know, David is my dad's American name that he goes by because nobody can pronounce his real name.
What's his real name?
Da Chen.
Dachen.
But it's spelled T-A and then C-H-I-E-N. But so people say like
You want to tell
Ta-Chen.
them
But it's
yours?
Da Chen.
Tell them yours.
Okay, so my real name is Gao Hao Jun.
Dachen.
Gao Hao Jun, right? But in the States, I go by Alex. And Alex is my legal name in the States. I'm a dual citizen. So I got
Dual citizen.
2 passports with 2 different names on it.
Yep.
Twins.
Yeah.
Twins.
I mean, same name,
I'm a
but
dual
you're dual
citizen,
citizen.
but I have the same name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say about the whole like the identity crisis thing about you kind of. Whenever I was young, I always wanted to be white because everybody around me was white, so it just made sense, right? And that like I didn't want to like get on the sun and become like way too tan or anything. And then Hallie comes around, she's like, I can't wait till summer because you're gonna be so tan. And like she's the kind of person who was always wanted to go to Gurba, which is like a Indian. You dance in a circle in a way, and she always wanted to do those cultural things. When I hated going to those things when I was a kid, because I was going through this identity crisis. I feel like, but like she made me start to like a lot of my own culture, which is kind of ironic in a way because she'd never experienced any kind of any culture
But that's
besides her
incredibly
own.
big of Hallie to do because most Americans just don't even think to do that. It doesn't cross their mind that they should be trying to think in that way. Mm-hmm. And that's, yeah.
Well, that's what makes us so cool. I mean, same with you guys being an interracial couple. I think it's so special that you made a TikTok yesterday about us having a hybrid baby.
Yeah, yesterday's TikTok was like, we're going to have a hybrid baby. It's going to get at least 50 miles per gallon. It's going to be super efficient.
Well, and like your culture is so different from anything I've ever grown up knowing. Like you wear your chain now because I told you that I liked it.
I never wore
you should wear your
gold
chain.
because I didn't like it. But then she's like, you look so good in it. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I got to wear it.
Well, I don't know. I love your culture and I love Gurba and the food and going to India and I wear this. This is beautiful. This is like how would you describe it?
So it's a
It's
Mangalsutra on your wrist rather than on your.
So it's technically a necklace,
So this
but I got a bracelet
in India,
for 'em.
instead of like a ring, a lot of people do this the black bead represents marriage. And so you can put the black bead. Usually they wear it on your neck as like a necklace, and then that signifies you're married. But Hallie also got one that's for your wrist.
Bracelet for 'em.
It's easier to wear.
I love it. And I love, oh my gosh, like you guys are eventually going to go to India because you said that earlier, which I'm so excited about. But like the dresses and the shopping.
I'm gonna like get her all
Oh my
decked out.
gosh,
gosh.
you're gonna die. It's so much fun. Oh my gosh, we just had the best time when we were there.
I also love India because it's so affordable. Like everything, it doesn't feel like you gotta break the bank to get certain things. And it's just high quality. Everything is high, very high quality.
Yeah, India's
Can't
great, but I love that you're Indian. It balances out.
Thank
us
you,
out
Hallie.
well. Okay, so I'm all off focus now because that was really sweet.
This podcast is crazy.
We've touched so many different kinds of
I know.
topics. This is just kind of how it goes typically. Just we just
I don't even
Amazing.
know how long it's
Love
gonna
it.
be.
I don't know. I still got some more though. So, how do you guys experience holidays differently? Which, Alex, we've talked about this a little bit before in the past of like Christmas and like different holidays. That do you celebrate any different holidays, or how does that work?
Honest to God, not really. Like here, I'm just Christmas, Halloween.
The only thing is Chinese New
Halloween.
Year.
Well, yeah,
Chinese
maybe
New Year
we make a small exception for that, but other
for
than that,
you, your grandparents used to send you money, right? But
yeah. So I get like a red envelope, but
I don't know since they're not alive.
my grandparents passed away. But
So but I don't know because is that usually something your parents do or just your grandparents? I'm not sure.
just my family.
So like, does David send you money?
Yeah, but he uses Apple Pay. And then
Not the red envelope.
he sends me the red envelope emoji.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This
I love
is
that modern times.
Sick.
cultural shift.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't. As far as me being here, it's just Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
No real difference, really. I mean,
I guess another question on top of that is like, you have two separate families, and so how do you handle like going to these kinds of events? Because like for us, we're very lucky in the way that her family does lunch, my
Everything's
family does
early.
dinner. So like they
very late.
They do like they'll do Christmas lunch. We do Christmas dinner.
It balances out.
Thanksgiving lunch. Thanksgiving
Well.
dinner.
Yes.
I don't know. It makes the holidays kind of stressful sometimes because like every year is a little bit different. But like my family, for some reason, my mom, she works on some holidays, so we usually somehow figure something out and we celebrate like Thanksgiving, not on Thanksgiving Day, but maybe a day or so before, whatever. We usually figure that out.
Oh.
Christmas is kind of tough, I feel like.
just for context, my mom remarried an American guy. So, ever since then, it's just been like,
They go hard on Christmas.
yeah.
We did the, what was it? Our little scavenger hunt for stuff last year. It
Yeah,
was
they
fun.
like to do advent calendars and all
I
that.
stayed with their family
Yeah.
for a week. I spent the night at their house for a week. I don't know what my family was doing. I honestly can't remember.
They didn't really do anything. I don't.
I spent Christmas with them on a different day, but
Yeah, because your mom works in healthcare and stuff, so she's like
Yeah.
working all these weird hours.
and then my brother is married and has a kid, and they usually have to split up their Christmas, so we have to work around them. So it's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, it's kind of a little different every year. But we kind of do the same thing where we try to figure out either lunch or dinner or just like depending on because of the healthcare thing.
Yeah.
We figure out a different day.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's
Interesting.
tough when you guys are in a relationship and it's like you have two families now to accommodate for,
Yeah.
right?
Well, first time we ever celebrated Christmas, I got to see what her family does because my family really never really celebrated Christmas. Our Christmas, in terms of present giving, was on Black Friday. That was our Christmas in a way. But we never really celebrated Christmas besides doing the whole Christmas tree and doing all that stuff. But I went over to Hallie's house and I saw a tower of gifts.
No, okay.
There was a
don't be
literal
dramatic.
tower of gifts at her house. And I was like,
Well, you have to keep in mind my birthday's Christmas Eve, so like my mom
she got
always
double.
tries to make
How
me.
unfortunate.
how unfortunate.
It's interesting. It's kind of weird. My mom always tries to make me like, because most people do kind of forget about it, which naturally so. It's the day before Christmas, so like it's understandable. But like my mom always tries to still make me feel really special. Like it's my birthday. That sounds so pretentious of me, but it's so sweet. She's
Because
always
a
made
lot
a
of
huge
her
deal out of it.
Presents get combined. They're like, oh, here's your Christmas and
Yeah.
And it's hard
birthday
because
gift.
everyone's always busy. So, like, I never get to see people besides, like, my immediate family, which has always been kind of tough. Because I would like to have an actual party on my birthday, but people are always doing something. So,
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
but I mean, it's always been that way. So, it just is what it is. But, yeah, I remember the first Christmas you came over, you were, like, in shock.
I didn't know
You're
what
like-
to do. I literally didn't know what to do.
And then you had a ton of gifts, too. And you're like, what? Huh? What
I didn't
do
feel
I do?
right. I was like, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this at all.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. No, it's
I love
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So, moving ahead to the future for you guys, do you guys talk about marriage and children?
Yes.
I talk about marriage. all the time. Children, no.
Yes, we do.
Eventually.
We talk about it. We're both like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine the thought of kids right now. Like,
Yeah.
eventually, I would love to have a little hybrid child.
Yes.
But
Tesla.
a Tesla.
Tesla.
You're gonna have a Tesla baby.
Actually, no. A BMW i8.
Yep, that's a good one.
Butterfly doors.
It's a good one. But yeah, that's like way ahead.
Right now, I'm just more focused on sustainability
Yeah,
and making money for myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
but really just depends. Like, we talk about marriage a lot. We're like, we don't want to rush the process, but we're,
I don't think too hard about it.
yeah, I
I
guess.
feel like here in America, the biggest motive is like religious. It's like, let's get this out of the way so we can get our parents off our ass and, you know, we can do whatever we want to do. But for me, I was never religious. So, like, as far as I see our relationship, I'm just like, I feel like we're already married in a sense. You know, like, I'm already
I get that.
committed. I know she's committed to me. You know, like, we love each other a lot. But it's like, there's no marriage. Yeah, it's cool.
I guess, let me ask you, when did you know you were ready to get married? And like,
That's a good question.
Was there a
what
motive
what did
behind
it mean for you? Because I would love to know.
I love that you're asking us.
There's
It's
a
great.
tax benefit, everybody.
Oh, okay. Let's get married.
No, so okay, well, so we've been together. I mean, this September we'll have been together 8 years. I mean, we've been together a
Wow.
long time. So
Long time.
it felt. So we started dating when we were in high school. You're a year older than I am. I don't know that there was a definitive moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, Katie, let's get married. I just always kind of knew when I really started to
No.
fall in love with you.
I disagree.
Really?
There was definitely a definitive motive
When?
when you started crying and saying, "Why didn't you give me a ring yet?"
No, I did not. Okay, that did not happen. That was the year that you were gonna propose. That was like
Yes.
a month before. And
I
was
already
like,
planned
"You're gonna do it."
everything by this point, and she was crying, and I couldn't tell her. I was like, "I'm never gonna get you a ring." I was trying to be mean, you know, in that sense. Like, I was trying to be mean
What?
so then she wouldn't like catch on to anything I was doing. But then at the end of the day, I probably shouldn't have been mean because she started getting really mad and upset.
That's a
an
great
interesting
story,
way to go about
Saketu.
it.
Wow, yeah,
Saketu.
I know. So, okay, but I'm asking you.
How'd you know? Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, in the time of us dating, did you just be like, boom, that's it, like,
So-
let's get married?
Me and Hallie in 2017 broke up.
2016.
2016. We broke up. And
We
then
did.
we were apart for 8 months. And within that period of time, we only didn't talk for 4 days though.
Because I cut you off and
Yes.
you came crawling back.
I
to
was
me.
crawling back. But within those 8 months, I realized how much Hallie meant to me and how much my life changed by not by her not being there.
Well, I mean,
So that's what definitively. I'm
We'd
so
been
glad she
together.
took me back because that would have been bad.
it took me a while. I wasn't like really wanting to. I wanted to give it time.
Yeah.
Because we were both doing
Yeah,
our
it took
own
me 8
thing.
months.
You were in college. I was in my senior year of high school. Like we were just figuring things out, and like me figuring out college stuff. You just in your first year trying to navigate college.
Yeah.
And all that going on, and then, yeah, what that would have been 2017. We ended up getting back together. Yeah.
And all my grades started going down because I wasn't with her. And my whole life, the only thing I remember hearing was like my parents always said, if you like get in a relationship, if you have girls in your life, your grades will go down. Like that's all they ever told me. Like I remember them saying that because they didn't want me to be in a relationship. And then
Yeah.
I saw I was not in a relationship and my grades going down. I was like, lies. Those were lies.
Well, your happiness ultimately comes
Yes.
before anything else.
Yes,
You
for
have to
sure.
make yourself happy before you can be happy with somebody
100%.
else. And so you had to, to me, it doesn't make much sense. That was a long time ago. Things are a lot different now. But it was interesting when I first came into the picture of us dating and hiding that for years. And
That's
it was
crazy.
it was a slippery slope.
Luckily,
So-
that's not something I really had to deal with because my family would say stuff. But again, they're all in Taiwan. None of them are here.
Yeah.
So, like, how much control do they really have
Yeah.
throughout my daily life?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And I'm kind of just like, yeah, deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm in a different country.
Yeah.
But you're also just really confident, I feel like. At least from my perspective, you're
Yeah.
confident.
I think a lot of that has to do
Yourself.
with my mom.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
She's like, don't listen to them. You can do
Sandra
whatever you want.
Lemons.
My mom was, she was like, the person that I look up to her so much.
Yeah,
All my
That's
confidence
amazing.
comes from her. Like,
Yeah.
that's good.
she's awesome.
She's a trailblazer.
It's so important to have such a good relationship with your mom like that, or with your parents, whoever. But like to have, I mean, your mom, like my mom is still my best friend. Like I'm sure you probably
Yeah.
feel the same way
Yeah.
too. It plays such an important role in your life and the relationships that you develop afterwards, like after your childhood and when you become an adult. So I think it's really important. Yeah. Did that answer your question? You asked what? Like,
Yeah.
is there a definitive moment when?
Yeah, so the whole
That did.
the whole breaking
I know what
up
I was going to
part.
say. Yes, because we did. Okay, so because we went through so much together so early on in our relationship, it already felt like we'd been through like a tornado at that point. Like breaking up, getting back together, navigating, not telling his family, then telling his family, then figuring all that out, then getting engaged, then figuring out how our 2 weddings are going to go.
2 weddings.
Yeah, which was a lot. So that was hard. That was, I feel like, when I mean, I knew I wanted to marry you. Like, I just always thought we were going to get married.
Yeah.
Because, like, I didn't see myself with anybody else. I didn't want to be with anybody else.
Aw.
I mean, it's
So
true.
sweet.
Well, like, we'd been best friends. K2 truly is my best friend. And so even those few days or like those months that we didn't spend with each other, that was so hard.
That was
And not having
terrible.
your best friend, like things would happen. I'd be like, oh, I want to tell him this, but I can't, or like I shouldn't. So I think it was really then that I was like, okay, well, Skate2's definitely my best friend. Like we should just get married. I don't know if there was a definitive moment.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel. Like,
Well, we did go through a similar period too, like where we were broken up, and it was really rough because I felt the exact same way. Like every time something happened, I'd want to like text him or call him, and I was like, I can't.
we were
You
taking
can't.
a break, and that's when I realized, like, oh, she's something else. Like, she's special.
She's
you know?
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it just takes that it takes that moment of being grateful for what you have, like you know what I
Absolutely.
mean.
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
where I'm at right now is like, yeah, like I want to get married, but like there's just no rush,
Right.
you know, because
Just doing
I
your
think-
thing.
normally I feel like there is usually the motive, like, yeah, it's like because your parents are pestering you about it, but since like my family in Taiwan that normally would have given me trouble about it is not here,
Yeah.
and then my mom is like, no,
Yeah.
you know, it's like,
Yep.
yeah.
So in the future, when you guys do decide to get married, how would you do your wedding? Would you incorporate the different cultures, or like have
I
you even
keep
thought about that?
saying-
It's intense to think about.
I want to because I just hit my mic. I want to do either just one wedding that has a lot of, Taiwanese culture incorporated.
I want a Lego themed wedding.
I
Why?
cannot.
Oh,
with
what
you.
if each table gets their own Lego set and they gotta finish
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
And then
finishes
whoever
first.
gets it first gets a prize at
That'd
your
be
wedding.
nice.
That would
And
actually
the
be
prize
great.
is the Lego Death Star.
Nice.
But they have to build a building from Taipei.
Yeah, exactly. All right, sorry to get off topic. All right.
No, I don't know. I've always wanted to experience, and maybe because he said that his family most likely wouldn't come to the States for our wedding.
I don't know. They've never
Rude.
been here. A lot of them.
Isn't it hard to come here, like just for vacation?
That's true. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
Because
guess
in
I can't.
India, you can't just get a visa to come.
We were really
here.
sad that like most of your family couldn't come because I wanted them to, but it was
Like,
also
there's
during
no-
COVID, so it was just harder.
There's also that.
There was a lot going against us.
I talked about. I still do want to have like a lot of your culture incorporated into the wedding, but I think that'd be cool to have our wedding here and then maybe our honeymoon in Taiwan so we could visit his family. And I think
That's probably the way to do it.
that's kind of
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
am wanting to do at
Ooh,
least.
That
That'd
would
be
be such a
cool.
beautiful
Just to
wedding.
have them incorporated in the process a
Yeah.
little bit.
Oh my
We've
gosh,
talked
yeah.
about that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to include them, like, but I just don't logistically. I'm like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Point.
Cultural weddings are so beautiful. If you were to incorporate the different cultures into your guys' wedding, that would be
I
top
would
tier.
cry.
Flame
We'll
it.
get a
Oh yeah.
we'll get a 360 camera, and I will live stream it, and it'll feel like they're there. We'll send them VR
Exactly.
sets.
It'll be like
can
on a
see.
little robot. They can control and they can look around.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
We'll figure it out.
So, Katie, you're going to Taiwan. That is an officially planned trip, correct? And it's happening later
Yeah.
this year.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to India for a film premiere, but I don't have the exact date. But basically, the idea is we're gonna go to Taiwan from India because it's cheaper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's more or less it's planned, but
I have been
Yeah.
begging him to go to Taiwan for so long now, like
Yes.
for 2 years.
for the longest time it was really hard because their quarantine
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
procedures for COVID were like super strict. It was like if you were a citizen, you had to quarantine for like 2 weeks in a hotel room, and then if you weren't a citizen, like if I were to bring her, she'd have to be in like a hotel room for like
A month.
3 weeks to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Is
So
it
it was
is
just
it
not-
gone now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
Perfect.
They've lifted it. So
Yeah. So, Alex, what are you most excited to show Katie about your home? What are you so
I know
excited
exactly, and it sounds so stupid, but 7-Eleven.
There's a 7-Eleven there.
7-Eleven.
about? Katie's like, really?
Okay, I know
No,
this
I've heard so much.
for everyone
Tea
watching this.
eggs at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, okay, people who are watching this who don't know anything about Taiwanese or Chinese culture, like you're probably like 7-Eleven, what the hell? But like 7-Eleven in Taiwan or like in East Asia is like the
Mind-blowing.
coolest. Like it's
I
awesome.
even wrote a song called 7-Eleven based on how much he talked about 7-Eleven.
It's such a big part of our culture over there.
I love
it's like
that.
7-Eleven. We have convenience stores here in the States, and they're just like they sell junk food. But when you go to a 7-Eleven in Taiwan, you know there's like a whole wall, there's a whole wall of ramen, right? And then next to it, you buy the ramen, and then there's like this hot water thing, so you can make the ramen there.
Self-serve.
It's
And then
like-
there's
That's
a
awesome.
buffet of like different meats you can buy. You can buy
Apple sidra.
you can buy eggs, and you put it in your noodles and you eat it there. There's like a whole cafeteria.
It's like
Awesome.
coffee, but for ramen.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
like,
so
it's just-
cool.
Have
and
you ever
They
had,
have one of these on like every block in Taiwan, like in the city.
I'm so excited for that, actually.
and it's so cheap,
Is
We
it?
should've
So
brought
it's
them
not
apple
that
cider.
expensive there.
huh?
It's not that expensive
Not
there.
really.
You said the
it's hit or
street
miss.
food, too. The street food we talk about
street
all
food,
the
like
time.
Tainan, the city that I was born in, is in southern Taiwan, is like the street food capital of the world.
Ooh.
Yeah. And apparently
it's-
most of the apartments there, they don't have kitchens because they just eat street food.
Straight up. At
Wow.
my dad's apartment,
That's
it has a
amazing.
sink and a microwave, but like
No oven.
the food culture there
Really?
is so robust and it's so affordable that it's like, why
You
even
don't need to
bother
cook.
when some grandma down the street is gonna cook this way better than you are, and it's gonna be cheaper than if you go to the grocery store and make
Yeah.
it yourself.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
That's cool.
So
I've heard
that's
so many
what I'm
great
most excited
things.
about, like the food culture.
I've
Yeah.
watched a lot of YouTube videos of street food in Taiwan.
Well,
Yeah.
So if you go to Taiwan, that's where Taipei is, right?
Yeah, that's like.
Well,
like
Taipei is the capital of Taiwan.
Is it far from where you are?
It's about a 2-hour train ride on the high-speed rail.
Okay, gotcha.
So we start in Taipei. I'm gonna show around, the big city center.
So it's gonna be a video.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
And then we're going down south, and I'm
vlogging
gonna show
it.
her where I'm from.
That's
You
gonna
have
be
to, you
so
have
cool.
to.
Oh my gosh. And there are lots of animals in Taiwan. Cats and dogs all.
Yeah, it's like
I'm gonna
India
be
where
like-
there's just
Yeah.
cats and dogs everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try those tea eggs at the 7-Elevens.
So
I've had the really good dinner that your mom makes. The
Ooh.
Taiwanese pork chops and tea eggs.
Ooh.
And apparently 7-Eleven has them too. So
Well, it's just like a store that is, some gas station store here in the States is like selling good ass food. in
Yeah.
I
Taiwan.
cannot wait.
It's just different.
We
That
should have
sounds
brought our
exciting.
apple sidra for them to try.
Your what?
Apple sidra. Have you ever had
Oh,
it?
it's like
I
this
have not.
Taiwanese soda that I love.
And we can
Do you
only
get it from
find
the International Food Market?
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's not at all of them. It's only at like certain ones.
We should go.
Oh my god, let's do a vlog of us bringing
Yeah.
drink
snacks.
Yes.
All right, we're getting off
that's-
topic here.
sorry,
This
sorry.
is a podcast. This is a podcast, and we're just rambling.
I know.
So my last full question is: so I asked you what you're most excited to show Katie. Katie, what are you most excited to see about where your man grew up?
Well, this is easy. 7-Eleven. We already know.
obviously.
Yeah, 7-Eleven, clearly.
Anything? If
Not
there's
my
anything
family, but
besides
7-Eleven.
that, yeah.
I am excited because first of all, I've never been out of the U.S. And so I know there's going to be a huge culture shock for me.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, like, I don't know. I'm just really excited to see the way of living in Taiwan and to see your family and at how different everything is. He talks about how he hiked this mountain with his grandpa, like, every time he went to Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
And I just love the stories he tells about and how vivid, like I can just imagine Taiwan in my head, even though I've never been.
Yeah.
And I'm just ready to see it all in real time, the way he's describing his stories.
That's exactly how I love that. That's exactly how I felt when we were going to India, because I've heard so many stories, seen all the pictures, all the home videos, everything. And it's like, I was so excited to finally piece that all together and see, like, I've seen obviously pictures of your house, like your parents have FaceTimed me from there, but it's not the same as being there.
Yeah.
And putting it all together.
Experiencing it.
And especially, they were both born in their other countries. So it's like, being able to see that was so, it helped me to understand so much more about you and your upbringing and like your family and everything that you described. It all made sense.
Yeah.
You definitely
I'm so
like
excited that you're going.
when you go out of the country, you definitely are like, when you come back to the U.S., you're like, wow, I never need anything in my life.
It's a whole perspective.
You're just
change.
like,
Become less materialistic. You just
yeah. It lasts about a good 6 months until you realize you're still in America, and then you gotta get that one thing you just need.
yeah.
But
I need an RO system for my sink.
yep, exactly.
I need it.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been such a good episode. Those were all the questions that I had. And I think this is going to be a really good episode for a lot of couples who are also interracial couples and
I hope
things
so.
that they
I hope we
experience.
didn't like go off topic.
No,
too
this
much.
is
No,
good.
this is perfect. All of it was good, great information for everybody who listens. A lot of our
Yes.
people go through these experiences as well. So I think this will be really
Almost-
helpful for them.
Almost every single person who watches are either in an interracial relationship or are trying to like convince their parents in a way.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So a lot of like, please ask any questions in the comments. We'll all try and answer them with our own
Yes.
experiences. But yeah, it's always nice to hear everybody's stories.
Yeah. And I had a great time. Did you guys have
Yeah,
a
thank
I
you
had
so
an
much for
amazing
having
time.
us.
Yeah.
fun.
It's
Oh
gonna be
my
so
gosh.
fun.
We're gonna have to
Feels
do
so
this again.
special.
I'm sorry
I
if I'm
know.
like really intense. I try to like
No,
keep it.
I
low.
love
Just
it.
who you are.
It's the
And we all love it.
confidence. It's the This was so much fun. Thank you guys so much for coming on. This
Thank you
is-
for having
Thank you for
us.
having
And
us.
thanks for the tea.
Yes, of
Oh, yeah,
course.
that's
We all
right.
had our
Delicious.
tea ready to go. We were sipping it. Yeah, this was great. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you everybody. And
Thank
guess
you.
what? This
Bye.
is it. If you made it this far,
Oh, we're not saying bye yet.
if you made it this far, you need to comment. Alex is king. Okay, that's the
All right.
comment. I do this at the
Alex
very
is
end, so then
king.
this tells me who is
Got to
actually
the
watching
end.
the
Oh,
video.
gotcha.
Last
All right.
the last episode was Boogly Boogly Ba. This time it's Alex
Yes,
is
it was.
king.
Alex is king, actually.
So that's the comment, everybody. Thank you guys for watching.
Spilling the tea with us.
We'll see you next time. Woo.